transformed. And I want to give an opportunity right now for one of our recent graduates from the Emerge program, Chanelle, to come up. And Chanelle, yeah, give her a little encouragement. So Chanelle is just going to share a bit of her story of how God has worked in her life and seen that transformation happen.
Thank you. Good evening. My name is Chanelle Surgener, and I am a recent graduate from the Love Inc. Emerge program. I was asked to come talk to you about how I came across Love Inc. and what the program has done for me. So I'm going to start with a little bit of a backstory. My name is Chanelle, and I'm a recovering addict. I have a clean date of 5/11/2021. 5 years ago, I had a career, a house, cars, the garage, and was miserable in my life. I went through quite a bit of trauma, and I found myself falling into addiction. Within 3 months, I lost my home, my job, my children, everything I'd worked so hard to achieve in my lifetime. I found myself in a domestic violence relationship, and in no time, I was living on the streets of Yakima, living out of a backpack. I spent 3 years living on the streets, struggling to get clean. I had lost all my self-worth, my dignity, and my will to live. I attempted treatment 3 times, but I continued to struggle with my addiction. When I was at my 4th treatment center, I was feeling super defeated as I had nothing but the clothes on my back, and I had such a long way to go before I'd able to get back on my feet again. I worried about clothes, how I was going to feed myself, where I was going to live. There were so many unknowns constantly circling around in my head. One of my counselors at the treatment center had mentioned a program called Love Inc. She said that when I got my own home, they would help me get some of the basic necessities to help me get back on my feet. I nervously called the Love Inc. number, and I talked to a staff member named Sandy. I explained my situation, and the woman on the other end of the phone wasn't judging me. I could tell right away that she actually cared about my situation and wanted to help. We went over the requirements, and at that time, I wasn't ready. I wasn't able to fulfill the requirements to participate in the Love Inc. program yet. Sandy prayed with me, and for the first time in a long time, I felt hope, because I knew that in the future, I would be able to meet their minimum requirements, and that I would have help when I got out of treatment. Sandy's words and prayers stuck with me over the next year. I had felt so alone for so long, and she helped me to begin to have faith again. I was in treatment for 69 days, and I got out and I relapsed 5 days later. I didn't have a successful plan in place to maintain my sobriety. This was during COVID, so it took me quite a while to get into my last and final treatment facility. When I got out, I went into an Oxford house and then into the Triumph shelter. The first year of my recovery was spent fixing my brain from being in psychosis and just generally learning how to be a human again. After a year clean, I was able to move into my first apartment, and my son was able to move in with me as well. I didn't stress, though, about furniture and the small things, such as towels and dishes, because I never forgot my conversation with Sandy, and I knew there was a program out there that was going to support me. I never could have imagined how much support I was about to receive. Once again, I called Sandy, and I went over the initial questions with her, and I was accepted into the Emerge program. When first attending classes, I was so nervous, because this was the first time that I had participated in a non-recovery program. But I was quickly met with love and understanding and set up with a mentor who worked with me one-on-one over the next year to get my finances in order. Working with my mentor weekly was one of my favorite components of the program. When I first came to Love Inc., I didn't have a bank account, I hadn't balanced a checkbook in years, and getting car insurance was on the bottom of my list. Love Inc. helped me learn how to manage my money, how to set a budget, and stick to it. I was able to set goals, and for the first time in many years, reach those goals. I didn't have just a mentor helping me, I had a whole team of people who had my back. When I first joined Love Inc., I joined because they offered free furniture, and I knew that I was going to have a home that needed to be filled with something. But Love Inc. over the year had given me so much more than I ever could have imagined. I was treated like a person, not an addict on First Street. Love Inc. didn't offer me just a hand out, they offered me a hand up that affected not only my life, but my son's life. Today, he balances his finances because I've been able to set an example for him. Today, I have confidence in budgeting my money, I have a savings account, and I'm working on future goals. I wouldn't be where I am today without Love Inc. Through interactions with team members, prayer, and finding hope in my future, my faith has grown tremendously over the last year. I currently volunteer for the Emerge program, not just because Love Inc. gave me so much, but because I want to be able to support other people in their journey through the Love Inc.'s program. I am proud to be an example of how Love Inc. can help addicts in their recovery journey and entering back into society. I would like to thank the Emerge volunteers and Dan for having me here tonight.